geez, everybody, no, not everybody here knows me. Everybody knows us. Yeah, this came about, to tell people who haven't been, this came about because David and I started exchanging poems about 3 years ago when I invited him to our wedding, Helga's and my wedding, and suggested that we exchange poems based on the last word of the poem that was said before them becomes the first word of the next poem. And we just continue doing that. And this is called Last Word, First Word, Volume 1, because we've been doing that now for 3 years. And I pulled this together really quick because Nick Hanna of Chicane Poetry Collective, right over there, invited us to read. And so it's like we had to come up with a book. And so we did. And we got Michael Gilmore to write the introduction. And then we promptly left it out of this book. So David has got another edition coming out momentarily. We thought it was going to arrive for this one, but it's a little late. And so there will be another edition of this. So those who have this edition will have a limited edition. Then the next one will actually have Michael Gilmore's introduction to us. And
so this is collectible.
Yeah. It's collectible. Absolutely. These are David's illustrations on the front and the back. And what else do you need to know? Joe Hoppy always tells me to shut up and just play my guitar, as it were, which are the reading of the poems. So now this is, Helga tells me this is a very interesting book because of the process alone, how we work. David is very funny. I'm not. So, so it works very nicely together. I first interviewed David when I worked for the Austin Light years ago, doing a column called A Poet's Beat. Very clever of me to name that. And David was one of the first people I interviewed, and his poem, remember I went to some poetry reading again back in like 87, I think, 86 or 87. And I to this day I still remember this. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. And he says it is both the heat and the humidity. There's Joe Beach. And for some reason I still remember that damn thing. It's the easiest thing in the world. And yet he can make things alive that you would otherwise ignore. And I've admired him ever since that strange meeting that night. And then I went on to do the Chronicle for years and years, but I've known David since about 87, 86, 87.
Nigh on,
which is
30 years.
Nigh on 30 years. So anyway, without further ado, what we're gonna do you have any place you'd like to start? Helga gave me a list of poems to read, and I've lost the list.
You'll just have to read it?
Yeah. Well, dang. Where'd that list go?
That's right.
Thank you for your indulgence. I was told by Chuck Book, you have to be funny, you have to be quick, it has to be like, boom, boom. This is like, people owe yourself time and stuff.
We have 3 hours.
But we write. So anyway, let's just start. To give you a taste, did I leave it in the other?
In your coat, probably.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Anyway, let's start with, just to give you a taste of how we worked, and hopefully this is a taste of how we worked. Let's start on page 22 and go to 23. So mine will be the first. Able then to believe the happiest of moments. Tables set, infoliate flowers, hours, seeds, and ready servants entwined in each day, month, year of your infinite garden mystery. and the light never ending, reaching, reaching, reach. Let go and run again, with horses and blue light and wild wonders filtered through her wide eyes. And the man looks up, says, maybe I should watch where I'm going. Awake, inside this bowl of words, new worlds turn, as if pages had no edge, no pink cow in a pink field, or someone said.
Last word was said. Someone said, Mr. Bones, your life is in danger. Mr. Bones looked up from his whiskey into the vast mirror above the bottles at the bar and saw Medusa sitting next to him. The notion that my life is in danger, said Mr. Bones, lighting a Pall Mall, is a novel one, seeing as I am a skeleton. Yes, but what animates you, said Medusa. You do move around quite a bit, even for a lazy bones. I'm telling you, whatever that is that you're connected to invisibly somehow and moves you around, I'm saying your life is in danger. You trying to scare me? What are you talking about? Why would it be in danger? Medusa squinted her eyes and stared at him in the mirror. The serpents on her head were dancing, imitating fire. Then she turned around and walked out. It left Mr. Bones feeling a bit jittery, even though he knew he wasn't in danger and never would be. Geez, he thought, what was that all about? Who needs it? Then he felt that slight chill again and looked in the mirror and ordered another $100 shot of whiskey.
I don't know if I have whiskey.
Yeah, you have whiskey.
Whiskey, uskebo, water of life, and I wanted nothing more than an Irish life, a fairy queen, a glance, and then a long draft of what it all means in the light, in the dark, in the dappled lands with the red-eared hounds of Cuchulainn, the Tuatha De Danann, and the churning sea. Years pass, as if the glamour of the fairies were time turning, and 16 were 61. Youth, an old man, whispering, ride slow. Milk and water and hot whiskey breath. A nod, a wink, a hand raised, and the window rattling stars, flowering at last.
At last, a general uproar in the flow and shiver. At last, a spark in the heel to inspire the leap across the river. And if I only make it halfway and plunge in, I'll swim the rest. So be it.
So be it. These days swimming through our bodies. Fire, a tea in a black tin from Paris. Rivers, children of clouds, sex magic everywhere. We breathe it first. If first we plunge, dive, collapse into the wave and out, and let the form congeal, be all its wantings. Resist no other. A round black stone, skimming through skins of light and shadows. She is laughing on her knees. Have you seen them stacking wood? How the way things happen, anything is possible.
What is possible? I ask the black stones in the white bag and scatter them across the floor, flung wild and wide, pretending they are stars and galaxies of worlds and other dimensions. What is possible? I can barely see or fathom 1,000,000 billionth portion of what may be. If freed from the habitual, if I took the next jet to Paris to walk the magical streets from evening through night until morning every day for 1 year, what could be?
I don't have the years, so we're going to skip to page 27. Alone, and a gift of touching, a silence after the bell, baking sheet of cookies, a bird at the kitchen window hides in trembling aspen leaves. Undone, this becoming. The women saying again, enough, and be done, but not done with, or in, or for, or up, ready to be done, and done as shadows, as sleeping giants, as spellbound, awake now, done. The inside as big as the outside, as wide as your desires dreamed, undreamed, as if all you had were a stove and the yellow timer, stitching a shirt as you sat on the couch, remembering who you are and the nature of ghosts, of heat, of unquiet gifts.
So this is a real gift, getting these poems in the email and reading them and having them, affect the vibrations. And then taking the last word and just go, usually just go, see what happens. Unquiet gifts sink into the loose sand at the beach of my mind, at the edge of the sea. Endless in complexity and rhythm and sound, never quite completely still, always consuming the drowned, always giving birth to the shining new creatures of life, endlessly becoming, endlessly roiling and boiling with isness and unreal evaporations of time. Unquiet gifts planted like cherry bombs in the loose sand at the beach of my mind, at the edge of the sea, exploding in slow motion all down the line, shaking sound waves, blowing sandcastles to smithereens, scaring children, carrying small plastic buckets and shovels as they stare, dumbfounded, at these explosions of emotion from nowhere, but not nowhere, without explanation or cause or effect except shell shock and desire to escape. Time to think about lunch or an early cocktail. Unquiet gifts shivering their promise of salvation or power of surrender or dissociated disembodiment as the spirit leaps free to swim with the whales and sharks, unconcerned about its eternity.
Eternity falls at the speed of want. Or if she repeats herself, the old woman knows what matters, as do cats, and the silences between the fire and the blue smoke. We sometimes, another measure of the drift toward what we cannot hold too long, hence the buzzing flies at our head, the scream of the teapot, the soft purr of the sleeping one at the end of the bed, the palm trees and the edge of that narrow obsidian gaze she loosens when the night seeps into the corners of her mouth. Cannot say, nor have a small note inside this day reminding us of all we still must see to be seen. And isn't this exactly what we want to be? Seen as the mattering between what matters and who matters in this hour?
Hour of mojo, hour of slow motion, hour of freeze frame, slideshow, action-packed, romance, breakfast bliss, then going back to bed. Hour of wobbly neurons discerning what is actually necessary, what is actually desired. Then the ubiquitous question, to what end, for what result or purpose? Then entirely stumped, clueless. Who knows? To what end or purpose is a butterfly wing so outrageously intricate and fragile? What is an hour? Which is our hour? Is an hour enough? There is no such thing as an hour. There is no such thing as time. Words pile up all over my apartment. I am tripping and falling all over them. I don't know where the romance came from, but it makes a sweet, blissful bubble where an hour disappears. Water in the ocean.
Ocean cups, river, lake, and cloud, and the first pearl of dew, so full on her lips, ribbons of rain wrapped from all beginnings, stars and stones and stalks of sweet grass, trembling flesh. She washes the berries, the figs and wheat, says light is better if you let it out there, pressing its soft spot, its belly, the place where the sea sings us to waves and swells, eddies, currents, coves, the pools of clear green sea, glass, the tides pulling, heaven, the sun, and the moon, put it in a bowl and be glad for her grace.
Grace is a butterfly surfing on a popsicle stick in the eye of a hurricane. Grace is a flower that opens out of gratitude, not because it's trying to look pretty. Grace, like a river, flows to the ocean of abundance and becoming and being here, now, nowhere else, nothing else. Grace is the magic that opens a road, a moment. Had you not found it, you would have drowned in the rain.
We'll switch to page 35. And poem before this ended with heaven. Heaven has no homeowners association, no left side menu, no choice of exclusive floor plans, high-end architects, no lifestyle upgrades. Every seat is front row center. Heaven is not a grifter's pyramid, has no dogmatic creed. There are no insider deals, no analogous circles of hell. We all sit on the throne with God. God in the very center of every heart the center of God. Heaven is right there in the char, in the scat, in the shattered, the anguish and awe, as if you ever really forgot.
Forgot the dishes that year. Forgot the dust on the mantel and bookcase. Forgot the books scattered on the bed and all over the floor. Forgot the clothes piled up in the closet. Forgot the bathtub and the countertop. Forgot the bills piling up on the table. Forgot the neighbors. Forgot the car. Forgot the bank account and job. Forgot walking around the block. Forgot swimming up the river. Forgot my face, my name, my body. Forgot how to utter a phrase or share a simple syllable. Forgot the food. Forgot everything, 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 except you.
X, the O of a field where apples always fall ready in their love for seeds. Mouths naming our old stars and the roses when he cut in winter so close. The boy shivering, his father knew roses and need. This holy green of future bloomings, and this place has its ghosts, deaths, and births. 10,000 years, 10 million layers and layers of hunger. And a joy that refuses to be bound by time, a honey pink sky, a red flush of blood. We are each marked and marked. And when you squeeze my arm, laughing to let go of kings and judges and the mountains that would be moved, we can bless these years of mirrors. Move to see in every stone a mansion, in each face a willing welcome to be at home with the impossible.
I'm going to read this one, then turn it over to Rick to read from it.
Okay.
Impossible ice cream shadow melting down the back of her neck. I'm sitting at a table beginning to evaporate and ruminating over my past 10 years as a razor monkey for the Occam gang, feeling it might be time for a change. And she, with her glitter lipstick and underwater know-how, seems the perfect candidate to distract me away from my craving for that Maserati. I think it is the trident as beheld by Neptune on the steering wheel and hubcaps of the sleek machine that makes me delirious with imagined speed and power, faster and faster by the minute and hour. But it is near sunset and I'm slowing down now, slurring words. In fact, can hardly move more than about 3 frames a second, and I reach out to tap her shoulder as the ice cream finds the center of her spine, and she shudders so delightfully just before she squeals and gets up to use the payphone.